and they had lots and lots of, imagine if you are shooting bullets into a big steel door, but they don't penetrate the door, but they leave those indentations.
Yes.
So the indentations were facing me in the lift.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at the numbers on the lift, inside the lift, each one had a grid across it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was metallic, like a little mini cage.
Yes.
And the lower realms were 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they were all very, very dark. And as you get above 4, it becomes lighter and lighter. And when you asked me for my body to dissolve as such, when I had a strange feeling in my body, that became, my whole body became fluid and water until there was just a drop left inside the lift. But when I exited in 4046, and that drop of water actually became pure energy, and it went like a, how can I describe this? Imagine if you've got a fish, but the fish is put on supersonic speed, and its tail would go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Mm-hmm.
And then behind the tail that it's left behind it is pure energy in rainbow colors, but it's got fluid motion to it. So all those colors, all that vibration and all that energy was what took me straight into level 8, like the 8th dimension, which is pure vibration. It's very, very light, and it's an orchestra of sound waves, and there's nothing that's really dense here.
Mm-hmm. So what are we here doing? What are we seeing in this dimension?
Everything here is telepathic.
Mm.
It is, I'm being told the word, pure creation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have now experienced the depths of despair, all the darker worlds, and now you've chosen to experience a much lighter state of being. It's just different levels, like the ones in the 1, 2, 3, and 4. So right at the bottom, level 1 or dimension 1 is just thick, 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 like quicksand and tar and a swamp, and really struggling to move. Everything's very dense. And then the levels of density change each time you get higher and higher. It's lighter and lighter. You have more ease.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to different places quickly.
Yes. So what density are we in now?
On Earth, Alba?
Yes.
Well, there's a changeover happening at the moment between the 4th and the 5th.
Mm-hmm. How can you tell the difference whether you're on the 4th or the 5th density?
It really depends how much is still holding you down, how much you're getting upset about things,
Mm-hmm.
how much you are able to view stuff that is playing out on your Earth stage, the way you watch your politicians, like little puppets.
Yes.
You get removed from it. You have a greater understanding of the play. It's almost as if somebody's giving you the script. So it's as if you go to see what you call a movie or a film.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you've read the book before you go and watch the film, you know what's going to happen. Correct?
Yes.
So you're watching the unfoldment of the story that you already know in your head. But the actors look a little different. Maybe they're not exactly what you had imagined in your imagination when you read the book. It is exactly the same as when you start going into the fifth. You know the story, you know the book, but some of the actors are not looking in your mind's eye as to what you thought they would be.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know the story, it's not upsetting you as much. Therefore, those that are going into the fifth are able to be of what we term real use for the game ahead.
Okay, very good. Now, you say that on this density, the eighth one is pure creation. What is creation? That was one of your questions. What is it?
Really
What?
like that you put that in so quickly.
I'm getting good at this.
Because, Alba, that actually should have been the very first one because all the others come after that.
Mm.
Creation. None of those others that we've put down today would be able to be experienced, not so.
Very good.
So we'd say 10 out of 10 to you today. You're coming along just well.
Thank you. Well, I guess I have the playbook.
You've seen the movie.
So what is it that we are creating within and without?
So, Alba, this one was told many years ago that humanity was created in order to create. And with every living breath, what is it that they are creating? For every choice that they make creates a new creation. It could be as simple as making a meal, meeting a new playmate, deciding whether to go with one particular person over another. For when they have choices, they have a new creation. And it is all in the thought process as to what one wishes to create. Humanity in this fourth dimension are very slow creators. As they reach the fifth, do you not have something called manifestation that is what you've termed the inward at the moment?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
To manifest something. And then they talk about abundance. Just manifest it. And isn't this where the irritation comes in with humanity? Because they want to manifest it, but they can't see it.
Right.
Right? It is because of their belief systems that hold them back from creating for themselves. We're showing this one now. Those who you term are in power, the Forbes list, the rich list, world's most powerful. Tell me, Alba, how many brains do these powerful ones have?
Is that a trick question? Each one has their own brain.
1 brain, 5 brains, 6 brains?
I guess it depends on how many there are on the list.
So if we talk about one human, do they have more than 1 brain in their skull?
Just one.
1. How many eyes do they have?
2.
Do they have 5 arms or do they have 2 arms?
2.
So do these humans who are on this so-called powerful rich list, do they have more hours in the day than any other given human?
No, it's the same.
Well, then how are they able to accomplish what they have been accomplishing?
Mm-hmm. I guess they know how to manifest.
They know how to create for themselves
Mm-hmm.
with a belief pattern that has been handed to them from their lineage
Yes.
or learnt
Mm-hmm.
by going within. Now, there are those who are not on the powerful rich list who accomplish much. And it is, how do they wish to spend the time that is given to them?
Mm-hmm.
And they think quietly. This one was just speaking to somebody yesterday about how to achieve something. And humans have dreams and desires. And what do they do with those dreams and desires? Do they write them down? Do they think it's impossible to achieve? We want them to write down their dreams and their desires, get a piece of paper, write them down, but we want them to work backwards. Instead of saying, this is what I wish to achieve, and I'm going to put $5 aside and then I'm going to get up half an hour earlier. We want them to actually go to the very, very top of the list and work from the top of the goal down to the base rather from the base to the top. And we want them to write down what they already have in order to achieve that goal. So if they want clean windows in the house, they might already have their two hands that can put pressure against the glass. They might already have the cloth or the soft paper or the towelettes. They might already have the squirty stuff to go on the window. But the windows are so high. So how are they going to reach the top? What is missing from the list? A ladder or a taller person.
Mm-hmm.
So they already have many of the aspects needed in order to achieve what it is they wish to achieve. We use that as a very easy example. And many earthlings don't like to ask for help, Alba.
Mm-hmm.
When they ask for help, they feel that it's making them feel less than. But as a human, when you are approached to help another, and you have the ability to help another, not only is it good for the person to help them, but it's good for the helper.
Mm-hmm.
So we want humans to start asking for help. Start thinking about what it is they wish to create. They might wish for more courage. It's not always money oriented. They might wish for a good voice coach.
Mm-hmm.
There are many things that they are able to do. And this one read a book many, many years ago. And she took the book out of the library. And when she was moving from Auckland to Wanaka, that book had to be returned. But we wished for her to retain it, for we wished her to teach many what was in the book. And so She picked up the 3 books. She walked into the library. She returned the books. She no longer had any books out of that institution. She returned to her car, and to her great surprise, the book was sitting on her passenger seat. She couldn't understand this. Remember, we told her this one has had many experiences before.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is one of the experiences that she has not discussed with anyone as yet, for she had forgotten this. So she thought, oh, I really like this book. I really would like to have this book, but what am I going to do? Because this book is not my book. This book belongs to the library. So she left the book in the car. She went back to the library and she said to them, could you please check with my account, with my subscription with you as a library user? Do I have any books outstanding? And they said no. At that time, this human had very little money. She was a young housewife. Had it been the same human in the same situation now, she would have paid for it and just bought it.
Mm-hmm.
But we gave it to her as a gift.
Wonderful.
Or the book had duplicated. The library had that book. We gifted her another version, and we would like to give the audience the name of this book today.
Thank you.
And it is called Wishcraft.
Mm.
Very similar to another name, Alba.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this wishcraft helped this one with creation, creating who she is today. So we gave her exercises to do. And we would like the audience today, should they not have the means to buy this book, to follow these instructions. Number 1, if you can afford to buy a good jotter, a good notepad, or a good solid hard-covered book with empty pages, for this book notepad will contain your heart feelings, your desires, your creativity. Number 1, what kind of a day would you choose to experience if money were no object? From the very moment you wake up until you put your head on your pillow to go to sleep at night. So this one really embraced this task. So she decided to describe the room that she would be waking up in. Big windows, lots of natural light, a soft sea breeze coming through, a fresh bowl of flowers, a little desk under the window, and a chair. Her bed was so comfortable As you can see, she loves the linens, the soft white and cream linens. It was fresh. It smelt like sunshine off a washing line. Her pillow molded her neck and her head so perfectly. She got out, slipped on a pure cotton gown on stone floors, and she walked into her bathroom where she had a very big bubble bath, more natural light. She didn't need curtains because there were no neighbors but rolling green lawns all the way down to the beachfront. Because money was no object, she could have anything she liked for breakfast. She pulled on very, very, very comfortable slacks and a soft linen top. And because money was no object, this one with her fair skin didn't need any makeup. She was just a natural beauty in her own element. She was comfortable with her own skin, for she had privacy. She didn't have to feel less than. And so she went into her kitchen, filled her bowl with fruits and yogurt, for it was a sunny summer's day, went outside onto the patio under a big umbrella with the dog by her side and her husband, and watched the waves rolling onto the beach. After that, she put on a big hat and she was driven to town so that she didn't have to worry about traffic, for she had the luxury of imagination and creation, where she was taken to an auditorium and she had set up this project where many speakers could come into mini auditoriums and speak to the masses and inspire the masses and encourage them to be the best they could be. She was a philanthropist in her imagination, helping to spread encouragement and joy and excitement and upliftment. And after the talk, she met some girlfriends. They went to an art gallery. And then they went and had lunch. Much laughter. In the afternoon, she was driven back to the house and went for a long walk on the beach with her dog, just feeling the gentle sea breeze blowing her hair, not a care in the world. And it was very much the feeling of that film that you have called As Good as It Gets. That kind of attire, just soft, gentle, comfortable, warm. And then she had an early evening drink with her husband, and her children arrived. And they sat out on the patio having fresh, good, wholesome food as the sun was setting. After that, her and her husband went to bed. Beautiful candlelight. And that is what she wrote as her exercise in detail. Then we got her on a separate page to write what it was she already had, that she had created in her mind. She had the bed, she had the sunshine, she had the fruit, she had the children, she had the ability to speak out. She had beautiful lunch with her friends. She went to an art gallery. She had her mini speeches in her mind every night. Did we not tell you, Alba, that she has been practicing these talks for years?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In preparation. And she's just realizing now how she is speaking to the masses.
Mm-hmm. She's already doing
So
it.
her creation has reached fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
She has her candles, she has her flowers, she has her sunlight. What she does not have are the rolling waves on the beach.
And a bathtub.
And the dog. The dog will come and she can visit the beach.
Mm.
So suddenly she realized when she did the second page how much she already has. And then all she had to do on the third page is write up the elements that could tie it all together.
Mm.
So this is the process that we would like humanity to follow. For as one releases one's creative juices in detail, we in the eighth dimension in 4046, which is the creative side where the juices are free flowing, for there are no boundaries. We hear the desires, we see the desires, and depending on the emotion and the vibration that is braided in, woven tightly together in alignment, we then, like that book that was so wished for,
Mm-hmm.
we bring it into manifestation. Now, there is the human on your earth plane that wrote that book called Wishcraft. She is called Barbara Sher, Sher.
Mm-hmm.
We think this is the correct name. We know the surname is Sher, Sher.
Mm-hmm. I'll
And
check it.
she has what you see on YouTube. She's a no-nonsense person just like this one. And she says, if you have no personality and no friends whatsoever, you can still have the life that you wish for.
Mm-hmm.
If you are retired and you haven't attended to yourself, or you've given and given to others, and now you think, what is it that I'm going to do? She sets these modalities, these tasks, in order for humans to get to know themselves. And at this time, Alba, this one had set up a course, her very, very first course, and she called it Your Time to Shine.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very clever because she went to specialists. She went to a wine specialist. She went to a person who sharpens knives. She went to an author. She went to an artist. And she invited them into a small hall once a week for 2 hours, 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. And she said to the participants, Just bring a cup with you. She'll supply the hot water and the tea and coffee. She'll supply all the paint, all the writing materials, and the specialists. And the specialists were happy to go there and give her their time for free because it would open them up to business.
Mm-hmm.
And this one didn't want to make money out of it, for she wanted to help these people find themselves. It was their time to shine. And she knew that there were so many different areas of interest. And one of those areas would interest them enough to spark something, to have some creative juices running again, and remind them they weren't just the mother or the father or the brother or the sister or the granny, grandfather, the caregiver, that they could spend time with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But although she was fully booked for the course, she charged $10 per person per night. So we are giving you this example so that many can listen and maybe incorporate this in their own area, which will get them interested in something, get them to meet other people, not only the specialists in the field, but new people in their lives. And as they will be giving, they will be receiving. This one never did that course,
Mm-hmm.
for she had what is termed a hysterectomy.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly thereafter is when we gave her the knee problem, the operation, in order to stop her energy all over the show for the work ahead, and then we moved her to Wanaka. But we gave that to her as a creative exercise for her to realize what it is that she can achieve. So, Alba, that is the creative creation on the external combined
Mm-hmm.
with going internal and putting them together. Does that answer your question?
Yes, but it seems to me that if you do have a creation, there has to be some emotion to move this creation. One thing is just daydreaming about it, and another thing is feeling it. Can you talk about that? Because I know you have
That's
some.
why, that's why we said you have to have the emotion aligned
Mm-hmm.
with the wish, and the strength of those combined.
Yes.
Seeing is not enough. So thank you for reiterating that. That is what is braided together, because the emotion is the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And the stronger the emotion, the stronger the frequency,
Mm-hmm.
which penetrates to the 4046.
Good. So I have an example. For example, somebody is thinking of their dream. They've planned it out. They're excited about it, but something happens. Maybe somebody pops a hole in their dream and they get discouraged. What happens then when you allow that bubble to pop within you? Do the doors
Well,
close to that creation?
that's a very good thing to say, Alba,
Mm-hmm.
because does that not once again happen in self, with lack of self,
Yes.
and allowing others to steer one's vessel, one's ship? Is one not master and commander in control of one's own vessel?
Mm-hmm.
When you eat daily, you're no longer a baby. You put the food on the spoon or the fork into your own mouth. You don't say, feed me, feed me. So if nobody is feeding you food, physical food, why would you allow them to feed you mentally, negatively.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why it is so important for people to know who they are. That is why in our last session, we wanted them to feel their vibration, their energy, their frequency, their bandwidth, and their color wave. When they said, I am, they didn't say, you are and you are and you are.
Mm-hmm.
They said, they were claiming their fullness, their sovereignty of who they are. But too many humans spend too much time denigrating another in order for themselves to feel better than another. And we say, no one is better or less than you, but rather different, unique, and just as fabulous as you. Celebrate each other.
Wonderful. So can we talk about celebration?
Yes. Alba, you are the master of ceremonies today. Look how you are weaving in the script. So, celebration. We want that word to settle. And how does humanity feel when they hear the word celebration or celebrate? Isn't it an excitement? Something's about to happen. There's a celebration.
Yes.
So during this time period called COVID, with all the demonstrations and the unrest, how much celebrating is going on at the moment, Alba?
Not much.
Not much. And this is why we decided to bring in the word celebrate and celebration today. You are still breathing. It is a time to celebrate the breath. Wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, and say, and now this sounds very what you term corny, I celebrate you. You're standing up or you're sitting in your wheelchair. You're still alive. You're a vibrant, creating human. And that is enough to cause celebration. We spoke the other day about being prepared and getting ready for the great leveler or the energy that is coming.
Mm-hmm.
We wish you on a daily basis to prepare not only for the great leveler or the energy, but prepare yourself for yourself and celebrate. Because when you celebrate, it brings you to the 8th dimension, to the 4046, because it lifts you higher.
Mm.
When you mention the word COVID, there's a heaviness.
Mm-hmm.
When you mention the word celebrate, celebration, like acceleration, lifts you higher. We want humans to do one little nice thing for themselves every day in order to celebrate themselves, look at their loved ones. When last did they turn to the loved one and say, I celebrate you? Just like we said in the last session, Alba, about the funeral.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, Alba, how many people celebrate the joy with another other than on their birthdays?
Well, I guess it depends if you go to happy hour.
Well, there are many ways of celebration. They are having a human experience.
That's right. When you're with your friends, it's a way to celebrate when you haven't seen each other for a while. Now people are doing celebrations on Zoom where they get together, family and friends.
That's a frequency, isn't it? They are connecting on your waves, on your
Yes.
waves, your air waves.
Mm-hmm.
And they are connecting their frequencies with your frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a time of celebration for the nation. For there are many nations at the moment at war. But there are many humans that are at war with themselves. They look at the mirror. They don't see the perfect image that has been sold to them in the magazines and the media. And then they feel less than. They do not see a cause for celebration. And yet, that was the form that they chose
Mm-hmm.
to experience their humanness, their humanity in this adventure. So they need to look at the mirror and think to themselves, why did I choose this particular energy form?
Mm-hmm.
How has it served me? What have I learned from my perfections and my imperfections and my disabilities? For there are many that you humans term afflicted with
Mm-hmm.
disabilities, but these are not an affliction, for they have not only taught themselves so much, they have taught those that are living with them with these afflictions.
So how do you love yourself when you compare yourself to other people who don't have afflictions, or they have what you think is the perfect body or the perfect face? What would you say about that, since we do have to live a human experience?
Alba, what is perfection to one is not perfection to another. Do you not have many nations on this earth plane?
Yes.
If you were not Japanese or an Eskimo or what is termed an African or a red Indian
Mm-hmm.
or a European, how would you know what it is that they term perfection in their eyes?
Mm-hmm.
For what is perfect for them is imperfect to you. So each nation, each culture, each creed have been given a set of expectations of what it is to be perfect. And we take it back to a previous conversation, Alba, where we asked you about whether you care, whether your friends are fat or thin,
Mm-hmm.
whether they have a straight nose or a crooked nose, big ears or small ears. You don't love them any the less.
No.
So how do we now teach humanity that they are acceptable, not only to us, but for themselves? For the way humanity has been programmed is what's called false achievement, celebrating the fastest, the quickest, the strongest, the richest. That is a form of entertainment. That is not perfection.
Mm-hmm.
For in the all that is, each one of you are perfect, perfectly formed, perfectly loved, just the way you are in your current form. Whether you have freckles, pale skin, darker skin, black hair, brown hair, red hair, blonde hair, no hair, straight hair, curly hair, fat, thin, no arms, no legs, small breasts, large breasts, flat stomachs, round stomachs. It's an energetic form. What do you want to do with your form? What do you wish to create? What do you wish to exude out of you? Your essence, your heart. So the feelings that you feel as a human about another human is how you feel about yourself. Or have we not said before?
Mm-hmm.
When you see imperfection in another, it's because you see imperfection in yourself. So we come back to creation again, Alba. When humanity starts to create the life that they love, the person that they love becomes more loving to self. For then there is an excitement, there is a focus, there is a purpose. Alba, this one that does hypnosis sessions just like you do, she's noticed the number one question that every client wants answered. What is my purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Is this correct?
That is number one.
Because they want to know that their life has worth. And we would like to let each human listening to this transmission that if they are listening, they have been deemed worthy. And that is why they are breathing. They have worth. Their purpose is just to be. Anything else is a bonus and worth celebrating.
Wonderful. Thank you. You had put something on the list which is very interesting, and it had me wondering about expectations of yourself and others, that they were set up before you were even born.
These expectations, Alba, humans have a period of 9 months while they are being grown in this research center, in this laboratory, for what are the expectations placed on that unborn child. Even before the child is born, that baby is born, there are members in the family, either the mother or the father or the grandparents or the siblings, that wish for that particular baby to be of a particular sex. Oh no, we don't want another girl. Oh, we really need a boy to carry on the family name. What a disappointment it's going to be if it isn't what we wish for. Oh, this family has had winemakers for the last 3 centuries. We hope that this child is going to carry on being a winemaker. In actual fact, it is not a hope, it is an expectation.
Okay.
This is what this child is going to be. This is what this child is going to do. This child better not disappoint. And disappoint who? So the yoke is placed by the love of the immediate family to be, to act, to become something other than perhaps what it desires. And so the internal conflict starts within this being, for they do not wish to disappoint. For this is a very big trait in humanity, not wishing to disappoint or let down, because they always have expectations, and often the expectations are not voiced. It is voiceless, and yet one is very aware.
Yes.
So some fare better than others. Some remember that their voice resides in their voice box. And so they speak out and they say, I'm going to be an artist. I don't wish to be a winemaker. Now there are those that are more astute than others. The parents, the winemaker parents, who then support that child to become all that they can be, the best being. And then there are others that say, well, then if you're not going to be the winemaker, you want to be the artist, go and support yourself. Let's see how you cope then. So where is the love then? Is that not what we term conditional love?
Yes.
You can be anything that you want to be as long as it's what I want you to be.
There's a lot of that.
And then what happens to this container, this vessel? There's now no longer an ease within the system. The system becomes diseased. So there are many listeners today who resonate with this. But this is not a blame, for they chose those players on the stage, this earth stage. They discussed the scene before they arrived with the other light workers, light beings, to push them and help them to develop what is termed a backbone, to stand up for themselves. There are many support players on this stage, helping to develop and bring out the greatness, the creativity that each of you hold within. And many blame another for holding one down or not allowing you to do something. But it is fear that keeps you in a position that you do not wish to be. And so you blame the other. But when is one going to look at self and self-responsibility for what is it that gives one joy and a cause for celebration? Is it not freedom to be who you are? But you have now been taught you need to be perfect, you need to be strong, you need to be quick, you need to be rich, you need to be a certain way. Expectation after expectation after expectation. So, whose expectations are you going to live by? Your own or another? We don't want you to have an expectation of self. We want you to embrace your desires.
Wonderful. Thank you. Can you tell me about joy? What is joy?
We bow unto you today, Alba. Your presentation of the items that we presented to you today are coming in the perfect moments. So, how does one have joy if one is living for another's expectations? Then the joy of the breath, the joy of the life is robbed from one. When one feels not enough and one is living for another's expectations, the joy is not there. This one did a hypnosis session on a human yesterday who had had many, many, many moments robbed from her. As a very young being, she felt there is no life left for me. Why am I here? Why are these things happening to me? And she learned that nothing happened to her. Everything happened for her. And she was a perfect example of a human that had been suppressed and rejected by so many. Used and abused is the terminology. And yet, she rose above. For she came as a joy germ, spreading the joy like a beacon of light. She didn't play victim. She didn't embrace that, for she still found the joy, because she found the joy in self waiting to come out. And what is joy? Just own yourself. And that gives you so much joy. For when you own yourself, no one else can own you. For you came in as a pulse of light to shine, to transmit, to be all that you can be, to radiate. And it is a joy, is it not, when you hear a baby laugh?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Why do people love, Alba, to hear babies laugh and laugh and laugh?
It's pure. It's real.
It's free.
Mm.
Do they care when they laugh?
No.
They just give of themselves in the moment. We want people to feel the joy that a baby feels, the way a baby releases,
Mm.
the way a baby and a toddler see everything that is new. For parents, new parents with toddlers, start learning about their environment all over again. The joy of a butterfly, looking down at an ant, examining a worm, watching the birds in the sky. Suddenly, are they not aware of their world?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And this is what we wish for humans. Rediscover the joy within, embrace it, and then radiate it out.
Mm-hmm. So it's very easy to just own yourself when things are going well. These are tough times right now. People have lost their jobs. People are confined to their homes. Um, People are seeing others very angry. So, what would be a quick way for you to focus in on this childlike world and get that joy back?
If they can't afford bubbles like a child to blow, we want them to put some washing up liquid in the sink and froth up the bubbles as a reminder that that is who they are. They are light beings. How do they feel, Alba, when they're on the first, second, third, fourth rung, as opposed to claiming their place 5, 6, 7, 8? They have the ability to rise above any situation, and when the going gets tough, we don't want the tough to get going because they are not tough. This is when they are vulnerable, they feel alone, they need to connect their vibration with another. For the other's vibration, when it touches this vibration, it'll be able to hold it steady. For did we not say this is a time for chain building?
Mm-hmm.
You need to be links on a chain. We wish for friends who notice those that are depressed, to help them regain their alignment.
So, is this where the prince on the white horse comes in?
Well, that is actually linked to expectations,
Mm.
marketing, puppeteering,
Mm. Mm. Tell
and
me
many,
about.
many disappointments, Alba.
Okay.
So this one doesn't watch much TV anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But last night we got her to watch a show, and she couldn't believe what she was seeing. And it was called A Farmer Finds a Wife.
Mm.
And she saw 8 women all different, all standing in a line, waiting for this one man to decide if they were good enough.
Mm.
And this is called entertainment. For the one that is chosen out of the line, she has a feeling of elevation. What happens to the ones that are not chosen? How are the emotions impacted on those ones? And she couldn't help but think, a farmer is finding a wife, and they looked like stock on show. They could be heifers.
Mm.
Are they going to be good breeders? What do the others look like? Are their legs strong? Is this really entertainment? And one of the participants, who was 24 years of age, said, "Oh, I love him. I just want to marry him and have his babies." This 24-year-old, 2 weeks prior, had never set eyes on this human in her life. And now she's professing a deep love for him, as are the others. What has humanity come to, Alba? That this is now a form of entertainment, and for participants to get paid in order to make a mockery of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And little girls are taught that one day they're going to get a flowing dress, white and sparkly, with a sparkly ring, and you're going to live happily ever after. This handsome man is going to come and rescue you from your life and look after you. And then, Alba, when this doesn't happen, when reality sets in and the dis-ease sets in, then what? And the men have expectations that their wife, their future girlfriend, is going to look a certain way. Do they not have apps called Tinder, swipe left, swipe right, depending on a photograph,
Mm-hmm.
whether they are going to pursue that? They are being set up, manipulated, marketed, and sold to. If you speak to many women and men today who've been married for many years, and if you say to them, would you have your wedding day again the way you had it now? Sorry, would you do it now as you had it then? Many say no, we wouldn't have spent all that money on that big white wedding for show. Yes, it was a fun day, but in actual fact, we could have had equal amount of fun had we had it on a beach, put up a little canopy, or brought a plate of food. Because is this not a celebration of two people loving each other?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not about the show. And the weddings are getting more and more ostentatious. And the pressure is building on the youth of today. It's once again comes back to expectations. Wow, look at the size of the ring. He must really love her.
Mm-hmm.
That has got nothing to do with the size of a ring, the sparkliness of a wedding dress, whether they arrive on a white horse or not. It is a fairy tale that has been taught to you in order to market you and manipulate you. Do not live beyond your means. Do not live on the plastic credit card. Know that you are enough. Food, shelter, warmth, love, friendship, family. Humans need very little. Most that is on the exterior is for those who feel inferior. And we love what Forrest Gump's mother said. Forrest, you need very little. All the rest is for showing off.
Very good. Thank you for that. What about the sounds of silence?
You know, Alba, why people sigh? It's a letting go. When they do a meditation, they're taught to take a deep breath and release. And then once one has released, one has silence.
Mm.
When one has silence, then one is truly communicating with self. For one cannot hear self with all the external noise. When one wishes to create, one goes into silence. Ask any artist or any sewer, anybody doing anything creative. While they are busy in the middle of their creation, they are concentrating on each step. Their mind is not going elsewhere because that has been silenced and they are living in the alignment of the moment. We wish for silence for all, for these sacred days, for these sacred moments, to hear the guidance that is there, ready and open from the 8th, from the 7th, from the 6th, coming through to the 5th, getting murkier to the 4th. As soon as they go silent, they loosen distractions and they open up the path of communication. This is when they learn to love themselves, accept themselves. They don't worry about expectations anymore. They don't worry about the white knight or the rider on the white stallion, the perfect girl, the perfect life, the high achiever. For they know who they are when they open in silence to receive.
Wonderful. Now, I know that everybody asks, what is my purpose? But they all always ask, how do I connect with my guides, with my higher self? Is that what you just said to them?
correct. You know, you've got something called FOMO, fear of missing out. They want to be there, they want to see it, they're connected to technology. Do they know the latest sport result? Are they going to be able to talk about it during the coffee break, during the lunch when they meet the friends? Do they know the latest fashion? What's on at the movies? Busy, 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 busy. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. That's why people love gossip so much. Ooh, somebody knows something that I don't. Instant hit. And all the while, with the busyness, they are disconnecting from themselves. So if they truly want to manifest, live the life that they desire, the universe, the multiverse, the eighth dimension of creativity is waiting to put the order on the tray instantly, like a McDonald's hamburger.
Sounds good.
What is it that they desire?
Mm-hmm.
What is it they truly believe they deserve? For many feel they are not deserving of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why so many people who win what you term the lotto, all the money that comes in, they lose it very quickly. And only a few retain it and make it to be something more. For they don't deem themselves worthy. But we would like to give them what you term a right royal slapping. Slap them into being awake. Come on, wake up, wake up, wake up. Look at yourselves in the mirror, the beautiful perfection that you are. The all that is that sent you here for this adventure of one of your lifetimes. What is it that you desire? Start creating it. Start being joyful. Start celebrating. Don't wait for the perfect woman or for the perfect man to come and rescue you. Nobody's coming to rescue you. You are rescuing yourself. What is there to rescue? You chose this position. You chose this experience. No blame. Love yourself. And as you begin to love yourself, that is going to emanate and vibrate, and you will now attract another on your bandwidth. If you wish to start receiving, what is it that you are giving? For it is aligned with your emotions, your color, and your vibration. See how animated this one is.
Mm-hmm.
This one has learnt to give now to herself, for she sees what happens when she doesn't give to herself, when she doesn't accept herself. We told her in this session, the other session, that we won't let her down. And she was a little bit disturbed before she went to bed last night. And she thought, no, you know what, I've got to connect with my guides and I've got to write down what it is we wish to talk about today. And her mind was blank. And her connection wasn't great because she was tired. She did 3 sessions yesterday. She was pushing herself, wanting to please others instead of taking a break and taking a walk. And so we let her ramble on. We knew it was a whole lot of nonsense, but we knew she needed to get it out onto the paper in order for her to go to sleep. And this morning, we let her know that last night was nonsense. So she felt the urge to sit down and quickly connect with us. As soon as she did that, she was fresh, she was in alignment, and those words came out. Rapid fire, boom, 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 boom. There was no doubt. Has she not delivered today, Alba?
She's delivered, yes.
She's delivered. For these words are our words coming through her, our mouthpiece for humanity. We want humanity to take a stand at this time. These are hard times, but these are soldiers of the light. These are our light army. She is our commander in chief. You are our general, Alba. We are broadcasting for everybody to take a stand for themselves. Be steady in self. Know that the turbulence will come, but it will not suck you up and spit you out. You will go where it has been planned. You are situated on this earth plane now as beacons, either holding the tone or playing the tune with others, connecting with others. This is an exciting time of your earth's evolution. And so the revolution for the evolution of yourself is within. Drop the expectations, bringing the joy and the celebration. Look at the ones in your lives who you love. Love them. Reach out. Lift those brothers and sisters that are lower, that feeling depressed. And then as you do that to them, those will then come back to you when you are feeling lowered. This is a time for a glorious chain to be built, for there is a chain of events that are unfolding as we speak. There is much happening in the multiverses for the ascension, for the times are coming when all will hear the trumpet, and please, no consternation for the nations, for this will bring all nations together in alignment where there has been fragments and there has been war. The golden era will soon be amongst you all. Connect with the eighth. Cut away for 3, 2, 1. Let's have liftoff. It is time for liftoff, Alba.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Who have we been talking with today?
Simon, Peter, James, orchestrated by Urka, with Uriel's light coming through the middle to spread the message.
Wow. That's quite a celebration. Thank you so much for that. What do we call this session today?
Ascension.
Ascension. Very good. Is there anything else, or do you feel that we are complete?
Alba, this one is most excited. For you only have 2 sessions left.
Yes.
She wants the book to go out. She wants the audio to be heard. She wants the messages to be spread. She wants the borders to be open. But we say, as a collective, coming to you from the eighth of creation, open up your borders within. For how many of you have your borders that are closed, closing you off to the life that you should be celebrating and joyfully living today? If you have problems with emotions, get hold of the Feelings Council. Reach out to those loved ones. Alba, we thank you from the collective of the 4046.
Thank you.
For the work that you have done, for the navigation for today's script.
Thank you so much for that. I know that my guides are with me too, and I'm sure that they are working together.
They are joyfully celebrating.
Thank you. Thank you. 4 and 5. Welcome back.
Hello.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
You know, Alba, the lift doors.
Yes. Yeah. That's kind of like what I was imagining. I was kind of imagining something like that. So how did it look to you?
I thought you were very clever the way you did that today, because it changed it up for me. I had to see it, you know.
Well, I keep changing. You know, I don't ever want to do the same induction with you twice. You know, I always take you down a different path. So this one, so I said, why don't I take you to this place today? And wow, that's exactly where they wanted me.
But I could see each dimension.
Wow.
So although the lift on the side had the numbers and they had a grid, they had a black metal grid over each one on the lower dimensions. And when you looked at, do you know if you go to an aquarium and the aquarium's big windows are in front of you and you can see the fish and everything happening there?
Yes.
That's what it's like looking into each dimension.
Wow.
Okay, so you go from that, and the number 1, 2, 3s were very murky, very black, as if you're going into deep, deep, deep sea, where they're mythical, dark, scary creatures.
Yes.
And then as you went up, it became lighter. But my body that had changed into the different inside, which was like watery, that became a drop, and then that drop morphed into pure energy, like rainbow energy, like a jet stream that started shooting into that 8th dimension.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's action.
It's amazing. Yeah. And the way that they described your perfect day, you know, and you know, I know that that's how it works, because my life in the last few years has been like that. Whenever I create something, it just happens, you know.
But by doing it, that perfect day, that's really setting your intention.
Yes.
And the excitement and the emotion,
Yeah.
having the joy that it doesn't matter whether you haven't got a lot of money.
Yeah.
That doesn't come into it. You can start writing it all down. That is the part of the manifestation.
Yeah, and the excitement that you get while you're manifesting it in your mind is even more exciting. You know, when I was planning my trips around the world, I would spend hours and hours and hours on the computer looking at Airbnbs and looking at the areas and that I was already there in my mind, so it was already done. By the time I had booked it, I was already there. All that had to happen was for me to be there, and that was the completion. So it was the creative process for me was the juicy part. and going on Google Earth and seeing where the supermarket was, next to the Airbnb. And I was already there. I already knew what it was going to be before I
So it's
got there.
the emotion that's building that gives you the joy for the trip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
The
just
way.
getting there was just the climax of it. It's like, yeah, I've already been here. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I enjoyed the session. I would actually say this is the one time I felt actually quite relaxed.
Wonderful. You've been getting more
Maybe
and more relaxed.
by the time we finish, I'll go, okay, I'm ready to start this mission now.
Well, I had a huge grin on my face, towards, at the end, it was like, I looked like a Cheshire cat. I just couldn't stop grinning because it was just wonderful.
Oh, fabulous.
It was wonderful. And I think people will enjoy it. So, yeah. So you want to say anything to the folks while they're listening?
Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And whether you decide to embrace yourself or not is totally up to you. But as they say, if you don't go within, you go without. I think that's it. Very
That's
basic.
right. Yeah. So I want to
Thank you.
thank everybody for watching too. And I applaud my my commander in chief for this session today. And I thank all of you for watching. And we have a few more sessions, so we're looking forward to it. And I know you are too. So until the next time, bye.
Cheers.